So a few weeks ago, a good friend of mine who you may know by the name of Darius made an April Fool's video in which he praises the 13th Doctor, and it got me thinking, it's a shame people have to be ironic to appreciate the current era of the show. It's a shame that people have to pretend to like the current Doctor. She's literally the main protagonist of the show and people still take a disliking to her. So, in my usual biased fashion, here is why the 13th Doctor is a good Doctor.
Jodie Whittaker was announced as the 13th Doctor in 2017 and has since had 2 seasons in the role. Today I'm going to be looking at why the fandom takes against the character so much and why I feel she doesn't deserve the hate she gets. Where better to start within the character herself? I guess the main complaint usually comes with her characterisation and her inconsistencies with her throughout the series. Now of course, there are flaws with her character throughout her first series, but nothing here is new. Loads of other Doctors who get a lot of praise still have inconsistencies. For example, take a look at the 12th Doctor. He goes from a dark and brooding character figuring out his moralities to becoming an uncle having a midlife crisis within a matter of episodes. Now recently I've been rewatching her entire era, which is what sparked me to make this video, and the inconsistencies are there, don't get me wrong, but they seem much less jarring. Her character has developed quite well throughout Series 12. We got to see a darker side to her Doctor at times, rather than just her being a jolly hybrid of the 5th, 8th and 11th Doctor. Despite that, her kind and caring nature is kind of a nice breath of fresh air considering Capaldi's darker Doctor beforehand.
Now onto a topic I don't really want to have to talk about at all, but I'm going to have to. It's a real shame that the current era of the show is being dragged down by the finale of the latest series. I'm seriously fed up of people claiming how the canon is fucked or Chris Chibnall has killed Doctor Who. I'm not going to dwell upon this factor too much because Doctor Who really isn't dead, it's more alive than it's ever been. And who's to say what canon is anyway? Do you really think in 5 years people will still be making videos like this?
God damn it, this show is absolutely terrible. This is not Doctor Who, even though it clearly says at the start that it is Doctor Who. The show is dead. Again. There is no going back from this travesty, and you know I'm serious about that because I've already said it 50,000 times in the past. Seriously, not even the inevitable retcon of their next showrunner can save this show. It is imperative that the show be cancelled so that we spend at least 5 years moaning that it isn't on anymore and arguing what caused the decline. By the way, isn't the idea of Doctor Who wonderful?
I will not be able to take your criticism seriously if you're calling it Doctor Woke and claiming that Chris Chibnall was suiting the show to fit his own ideology. What ideology? Egalitarianism, that's just common sense. I feel like the recent watch-alongs are almost like compensation for the uproar. Like damage control, but not always as good. Why are people getting hung up on the colour of the actor's skin and not their performance? This almost feels like an excuse to dislike the current era of the show. You didn't hear people saying Russell T Davies was pandering to too many audiences by including a black and pansexual companion back in 2005. Are people just going with the crowd here, or have people lost brain cells since 2005? I seriously wouldn't put it past them.
Let me take you back to 2017 when the 13th Doctor was announced, the first female Doctor. Now, obviously, there was always going to be an outrage, which is weird considering how the show's been based on change for almost 60 years and for some reason the so-called fans still can't deal with that concept. I may as well get this out of the way, but one of the main reasons people still take a disliking to Jodie's Doctor in the current era because it is, and I quote, too diverse.
It's a shame that people like this consider themselves as fans of the show, as it almost makes me embarrassed to be a fan at times. Considering the fan base is so, and I know you're probably fed up of hearing this word by now, but the word is toxic. But I'm not going to go on about this aspect too much because it's old hat by now and he still can't deal with the fact that the Doctor isn't a white male, then it's too bad. I know someone's going to bring this up, so I may as well address it. A few months ago, me and Tharius made a video entitled Doctor Who Sucks, in which we state our criticisms of the current era of the show. And it didn't really help matters. In fact, I even lost subscribers from it. I would like to say I no longer stand by these opinions, not entirely, and this isn't me trying to backtrack. Opinions change over the time. I've been through a whole rollercoaster of emotions trying to comprehend what happened in Series 12, and that video was made just at the start of it. I've since changed the title for many reasons, mainly because I didn't want people to click on my channel and that be the first thing they see and think I'm one of these people who refer to the fans of the current era of the show as cucks or SJWs. This brings me on to my next point. I feel like my sudden 13th Doctor epiphany has been brought on by the sheer embarrassment that comes with disliking the current era of the show in being associated with the aforementioned fans.
Okay, so the Chibnall era isn't amazing, but it's certainly not the worst. There are some genuinely good episodes. Take Can You Hear Me, for example, but even still people are complaining that that episode is too PC.
It's inescapable!
Let's talk about Jodie's acting ability. She's really good. I'm going to be honest, I've only ever seen her before in Black Mirror, where she was amazing, by the way. But Jodie Whittaker's had a lot of defining moments as the Doctor. However, when comparing that to Black Mirror, there she plays a more emotional and darker role. It makes you realise the potential she has as an actress and how her darker style of acting is almost wasted. so maybe giving the 13th Doctor the chirpy personality she has wasn't the best route to go down. But as said, having that straight after Capaldi might get a bit boring. If you're going to blame the acting, I'd take a look beyond Jodie Whittaker and have a look at the writing or the direction. I'm not saying the writing is bad, but some of the lines are pretty cringeworthy. But then again, there's nothing new there. I do feel there's a lack of chemistry between her and her companions. There's no particular bond I can highlight between any of them, but next season this may change due to two of the main cast leaving, which may allow for some more breathing room between the Doctor and Yaz.
But what really bothers me is the association with the Doctor to the showrunner. Okay, so I would probably say the Moffat era is my least favourite era of Who, but the 11th Doctor is amazing. Now, I'm not a massive fan of the writing throughout series 11 and 12, but that doesn't mean I dislike the Doctor. It feels like the same problem we face with the 6th Doctor, even though all his stories are top notch. The writing took a decline amongst fans, but Colin stayed on top of his game throughout. In fact, he got stronger. And if you want an example of this, just take a look at Colin Baker being sacked because John Nathan Turner was taking the show in a different direction. Now, I'm not saying it's entirely Chris Chibnall's fault. He came along at the same time as the 13th Doctor, so they sort of take the blame for each other. But looking back, I wouldn't have it any other way. Could you imagine Stephen Moffat writing for the 13th Doctor? Seeing how he dealt with the idea of a man regenerating into a woman in Hellbent, I would not be able to put up with that for a whole series. So looking back on it, do I think Jodie is the best Doctor? No. Do I think she's the worst? Definitely not. I look forward to seeing what the future will bring and what it can add to her character and hopefully make people realise it's not Jodie Whittaker's fault. And this video isn't me shifting the blame towards the writing. I will admit Jodie's acting isn't the best in certain places. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this video and that's fine. Please do tell me why you don't like the 13th Doctor in the comments, and if you do like the 13th Doctor, be sure to let me know. And don't worry guys, I still have more unpopular opinions on the way, like a review of this thing. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. I put a lot of effort into the video and hopefully it will pay off, alright? And this has been Cynical Who, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.